think it is so sweet that this dad with 5 daughters started an online petition to get Disney to make Princess Leia an official Disney princess in honor of Carrie Fisher. And I'm also impressed with all the media attention that he's gotten for his petition. Disney has certainly seen this. But I'm afraid my reality check here is it's never going to happen, and we can do better. I like what you're thinking here, Dad, but you're not thinking big enough. So allow me to explain. So first off, why is it never going to happen? I'm sure many of you are typing right now. We have the signatures. We have their attention. She should be a Disney princess. She's a princess that's owned by Disney, so therefore, get rid of the red tape. Well, and I think some people are trying to blame it on the live action versus animation issue, as did the dad. He brought that up. And everyone's like, well, why can't you just do a 2D version of Princess Leia and stick her in here, as so many people did when Disney purchased Lucasfilm? They did it, to be funny, but I also think because secretly some people actually wanted it to happen. And now, I think they feel there's some real momentum with all the people saddened by Carrie Fisher's tragic death and, wanting to do something to honor her. But again, I think we should ask for more because the momentum is so strong. But anyway, the real reason that Princess Leia can't be a Disney princess is because, while it is, some people are like, it's not sci-fi, Grace, it's fantasy. Well, it's fantasy sci-fi. And that means that Princess Leia can't have tea or celebrate Christmas with the other Disney princesses. They do things as a group, and that would mess up the whole merchandising line. And that's what really motivates Disney, how much money they make with the Disney Princess line. Inspiring little girls and making them happy is the bonus. The real thing that's a momentum behind the Disney Princess line is the copious amounts of merchandise and clicks, for games and the website. And if you follow them on Instagram, I actually follow the Disney princesses on Instagram, and they have a joint account. And so Princess Leia is just going to mess that whole thing up. But we got to speak Disney's language here. When it comes to making money, they are not realizing Princess Leia's full earning potential, right? So all the focus right now is on having a female Jedi, right? Or like a female Han Solo-ish type of character, which is how Jyn Erso was unsuccessfully sold to us. But let's not forget that a space princess who leads a rebellion is also really cool. And also, particularly in the United States, as we go back, there's a little bit of a pushback to all the kind of feminism and the kind of progressiveness that gave us Rey and and Jyn Erso. Things are becoming a little more traditional here. So what's more traditional than Princess Leia, right? But she's also still at the same time progressive. So she's actually like a rare character who satisfies everyone. Because let's not forget, in The Force Awakens, she was a general, right? She's a general. But she also has a murderous son who seems to have been abandoned, which is maybe a not great commentary on career women, but let's let it go. People can interpret that as they see fit. So, while the Princess Leia storyline gets wrapped up in Episode 8 and maybe Episode 9, perhaps digitally, I made a video on that. You can check that out. There's a link down below in the video description. Let's take a cue from Rogue One and go back to the glory days of Princess Leia, the character that's launched to this day. Millions of cosplayers, extremely popular, right? And she has all these great outfits. She really, I think, again, she has all the hallmarks of a great merchandising opportunity. Now, you could say, well, let's wait to do that until after Episode 8 or 9. No, do it now. Do it at the same time. So when, Carrie Fisher, either in the footage they filmed before her tragic passing or if she shows up digitally is there, people are like, oh yeah, that's Princess Leia, who I'm currently, experiencing and what I'm about to suggest, right? Okay, so I say, let's go Frozen. Let's give her own line. Frozen has not been rolled into the Disney Princess line. It's so powerful and so potent. They don't need it to. It would be unnecessary. So they have 2 really successful merchandising lines right now. So make Princess Leia her own line that's supported by an animated TV series. Make it computer animated, make it 2D animated, whatever floats your boat, Disney. Just do it. I think it's a really good idea, and they should model it after the recently very successfully launched Elena of Avalor, a show that I actually watch. It's very good. It's introducing a Latina princess into she's not a member of the Disney Princess line either. She has her own merchandising line, just as I'm suggesting for Princess Leia, and she has a huge presence not only at the Disney store but at the theme parks. She had a whole thing where they welcomed her. She does a meet and greet. She's very, very much part of the face of Disney, right? So why don't we do this with Princess Leia? So she would have her own show, then she would have her own merchandise line. How cool would it be to walk into the Disney store and see Princess Leia merchandise, right? And then also you could have her have like a show and a meet and greet, both. Why not both, right? At the Disney theme parks. And then this is where it gets really interesting. Wouldn't it be great, because she's her own line, so she's not going to affect anybody else, if we could turn up the sass a little bit, even more so on Princess Leia? Because Carrie Fisher, she snuck a lot of that into Star Wars. She rewrote a lot of her own dialogue, which is, I think, very impressive, and foreshadowed her very lucrative career as a script doctor. But over the years, as we've heard not only interviews with Carrie Fisher about being Princess Leia, but also heard a lot of behind-the-scenes stories from Carrie Fisher and her co-stars, I think that Princess Leia has absorbed all of that, and I think when you think of Princess Leia, you almost think a lot of the behind-the-scenes photos and stories at this point. So wouldn't it be great to make Princess Leia like this really, sassy character who had a lot of Carrie Fisher's wit and edge? I think that would be fantastic. And you could also, there's a Marvel comic right now about Princess Leia, which isn't bad. I did stop reading it, to be fair, but it shows that you can show her solo adventures, right? I'm not quite sure at what point you would do that, maybe right between episode 3 and 4, although that's a very crowded space right now. You could do it after, before she has Kylo Ren, after episodes 4, 5, and 6. It's debatable, but I think there's definitely some space there to, show her adventures. I don't know if you would want to do it once she was with Han Solo and had a son, but I think there's still some space in there. And while it might really annoy Kathleen Kennedy, who's been very much pushing the feminist agenda at Star Wars, I think a girly animated Princess Leia show with tons of merchandise and a show at the theme parks would do a lot to increase Star Wars female appeal. It already is getting a lot of women to like it, but I think you could just like the DC superhero girls has been quite successful. I think they could totally do that with Princess Leia for Star Wars. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. But again, I want to stress that you should also turn up the sass, highlight Carrie Fisher's wit, real wit, and also show Princess Leia struggling with the confines of being a princess, as Carrie Fisher struggled with the role. And I think that would be absolutely the best way to honor Carrie Fisher and do something that's truly unique. So that's my thoughts. Again, if you want to sign the petition just to get Disney to do anything, there's a link down below in the video description, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts about what Disney should do with Princess Leia, not only to honor Carrie Fisher, but to maximize her earning potential as a character in their stable. All right, write your thoughts down below, and you can check out some other videos right now.